The watch world is in a strange but interesting place right now. Rolex may be about to discontinue one of the most iconic watches on the market. Omega's revenue is sinking while the prices continue to rise. And major conglomerates are trying to sell off storied brands that just aren't as profitable as they once were. Combine that with the tariff situation over the last year, it's clear the industry is at a turning point. Today, I'm going over some of the biggest recent news and releases in the watch industry, some predictions over the trends that may define 2026, and what all of this means for collectors going forward. Starting with perhaps the biggest story going around right now, the rumor of the possible discontinuation of the Rolex Pepsi GMT Master 2. This rumor circulates every few years, so it isn't exactly new. But this time, there are some strong signs it could actually be real. It's been suspected for a while that the Pepsi bezel is a problem point in Rolex's manufacturing process, particularly when it comes to maintaining consistent coloring. Recently, there have also been reports of authorized dealers no longer allowing the purchase of the Pepsi, citing a halt in production and the removal of the model as an option from some websites as well. I have my doubts on the legitimacy of all of this, but with how much discussion is circulating around this, there's likely something going on behind the scenes. The Pepsi GMT Master 2 is one of the most sought after models in the entire industry. If they really were discontinued, the impact could be huge, beyond Rolex and onto the entire industry. Demand will likely only increase for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if budget Pepsi alternatives became even more prevalent. Secondary market prices would likely spike as well, which would only add to the already inflated prices we've seen in recent years. Rolex will need to introduce a replacement for the hole in their catalog this will create, and I absolutely expect them to announce something soon. Perhaps even with another fan classic at Watches and Wonders next month. I'll leave my specific model predictions for my Watches and Wonders video later this week. Rolex isn't the only brand making moves lately though. Omega has also been making a push to update their main lineup recently, likely in an effort to move up market and compete with Rolex, as they've been aiming to do for years. Late last year, Omega updated the Planet Ocean line with an entirely new case design and aesthetic. It's been rather polarizing, with the removal of the helium escape valve and sharp angled look, but overall, it's been a positive release for Omega. Personally, I really enjoyed the new design. It reminds me a bit of a more refined Grand Seiko diver, and I respect Omega for actually introducing something new to their offerings. Their newest release takes a much safer approach though. Speedmaster Reverse Panda certainly isn't reinventing the wheel. It's serving as a dressier Speedmaster to the lineup, which I suppose is an interesting addition. My main issue with this watch isn't the design, but the price. At $10,000, this is essentially a $1,000 upgrade for the privilege of a slightly different colorway and reflective hands. I understand Omega trying to compete in Rolex's price bracket, but there needs to be a higher value add to justify moving up. And judging by recent numbers, I don't think I'm the only one who's been feeling this way about Omega. According to the 2025 Morgan Stanley Watch Report that was released last month, Omega has dropped from the third highest Swiss brand in gross revenue down to the fifth. Swatch as a whole has dropped significantly this year, with nearly every single brand under the conglomerate performing worse in 2025 than the previous year. There are a lot of possible explanations for this, but I suspect that Omega's price hikes and increasingly bloated lineup are at least partially to blame. I can't think of another brand in the industry that releases as many sub-variations and special editions as Omega does. Customers aren't looking for a 23rd different variation of the Speedmaster. They want something new and interesting. With how things are going, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the worst performing brands under Swatch be put up for sale if this trend continues. And within this same vein, there have been rumors that LVMH is gearing up to put Zenith up for sale. This is coming off the heels of the news of Richemont's sale of Baume & Mercier and LVMH's purchase of La Joux-Perret, hinting at a lack of the need for Zenith as a movement supplier role in the conglomerate. This is sad news to see if this does happen, as Zenith is one of my favorite brands with a great history. Although I can't deny that their contemporary offerings and overall management has seemed less than stellar. This isn't just a problem with Zenith though, it's happening across the industry. Conglomerates are trying to manage a significant number of brands under one roof, positioning each one to serve a specific role. This strategy doesn't seem to be working out too well though, and we keep seeing these internal struggles showing more frequently. And when you zoom out to the entire market, 2025 was a bit of a wash. The market has been on decline ever since 2022, hitting a 5-year low following the announcement of US tariffs. Since then though, the market has been on the incline for the first time in years, and has just recently moved past the setbacks that 2025 introduced. But with the announcement of the new 10% tariffs, the market has begun to stall again. Despite this, I still think the industry will continue to grow steadily through this year, even if it continues to face uncertainty and broader economic pressure. The real question is, though, what should collectors actually expect going forward? Based on everything we've seen recently, there are a few trends I think are going to define the watch industry in 2026. First, this year is going to be the year of brands playing it safe. After years of stagnation and decline, I expect most releases to iterate on current designs and trends, rather than introducing entirely new lines. Instead of brand new collections, we'll see more colorways, movement updates, and small updates to watches we already know. These decisions are typically easy for brands to implement with their existing tooling and supply chains, and will likely result in the steady and low-risk growth the industry needs right now. Second, prices will almost certainly continue to rise, just as they have with every year in recent memory. Perhaps the increases won't be as egregious this year, but it has become an inevitability that the largest brands will continue pushing upmarket. Even if tariffs continue to change, it's unlikely we'll see prices return to pre-tariff levels. Brands know that buyers will pay the premium, so there's no reason to lower them now. In combination with this, 2026 is shaping up to be another big year for micro brands. While big brands like Omega are increasing prices and taking a risk-averse approach, micro brands are doing the opposite, focusing on incredible value and innovation. Many independent manufacturers are including an incredible amount of features that huge conglomerates are dragging their feet with. Bracelet micro adjustment, enthusiast specifications, unique styles and complications, and great affordability. Because of this, my prediction is that micro brands are going to gain even more popularity this year, and will grow significantly in the market. We've already been seeing this in the market reports too, with brands such as Christopher Ward breaking into the top 50, and independents almost unanimously growing this last year, and I expect that trend to continue into 2026. Finally, as far as trends go, it's difficult to pin down specific styles and designs that will catch on, as the industry is so diverse. That being said, one major trend I've been seeing a ton that will likely continue to stick around this year are stone dials. This ties right in with the popularity of microbrands and independents as well, as these unique dials make much more sense at smaller production scales. In an industry climate in which customers are demanding uniqueness and beautiful dials are trendy, the stone dial flourishes. Another benefit is that these seemingly find themselves in every price point in the market. You see them in high-end luxury pieces like Piaget and Chapek, but also in smaller and more affordable brands such as Nevada Gretchen and Zelos. There's an incredible variety of stone types too, and I've considered making a video going over each, as some of the most beautiful dials being produced right now are made of materials like aventurine, lapis lazuli, and meteorite. And speaking of trends, let's go over a few of the other notable releases I found interesting recently, many of which are moderate updates on current lines as well, providing even more evidence towards my predictions. Starting in the budget sector, both Orient and Citizen released variations of their popular lines. Orient introduced new no-date Bambinos and the Stretto Date Shades collection, which I mentioned in my last video, and Citizen expanded the Soyosa line, including the Shore edition with a dive bezel. Seiko followed suit as well, releasing gold-accented versions of their current collections to celebrate their 145th anniversary, along with an expansion to the Speed Timer line sprinkled in. 2026 is the year of the horse, and a significant number of brands in the lower luxury segment took advantage of that theme, such as Tag Heuer with their Carrera glass box, Oris's impressive Big Crown Caliber 113, and Baume & Mercier's Clifton with a unique date wheel. Tag Heuer has also been trying to expand the glass box lineup too, including a new 41mm line and a very interesting modern reinterpretation of the Seafarer Carrera chronograph as well, with a unique tide switching complication. I'm a bit of a sucker for unique complications, so this one really appeals to me, despite its larger sizing. And finally, AP seems to be preparing for the return to Watches and Wonders this year with a few new releases that aren't Royal Oaks. The Neoframe Jumping Hour was the first of those two I wanted to cover. This is yet another modern reinterpretation of vintage models the brand made in the past, but at least it's something new and refreshing. The Jump Hour complication is a fitting complexity to the hot horology category AP sits in as well. To further confirm this display of watchmaking prowess, they also announced an incredibly complicated 150E Heritage pocket watch. This is one of those releases that has zero effect on the brand's attainable lineup, but is more of a symbolic creation to represent a change in mindset and goals. None of us watching this video are going to own either of the two one-of-one versions of this 30 complication watch. But to me, it shows that AP may be changing their priorities as a watchmaker, and that they may have some interesting announcements at Watches and Wonders in a few weeks. After seeing the Neoframe Jumping Hour announcement, I couldn't help but feel I had seen this watch before, but from a different brand. And then I realized that I had, from a brand called Chrono Swiss. The The Chronoswiss Neo Digitor is the spitting image of the Neo frame jumping hour, featuring an incredibly similar dial layout, complications, and case shape. The names are even similar, as both are modern releases of older versions of these designs. Despite the similarities between them, I find that I actually enjoy Chronoswiss' version more, at least visually. This version of course includes the jumping hour and minutes wheel just as AP's does, but this time it also has a seconds wheel. It has the signature onion and crown, and overall it makes use of the empty space in a design such as this a lot better than AP does, in my opinion. The Neo Digitor comes with a manual wind movement that has similar specs to AP's automatic, in a stainless steel case with slightly worse dimensions to AP's solid pink gold case. The finishing is bound to be better on AP's version, but Chronoswiss's is not a slouch either, with hand guilloche on the movement and a similar dial pattern as well. Really, it's not exactly fair comparing these two watches either, as the AP is nearly 5 times the price at retail, if you could even get one allocated for you. Overall, I find it amusing on some level that one of the only releases we've seen from AP in recent memory that isn't milking the royal oak cow has a design remarkably similar to other brands, and isn't all that unique to begin with. With Watches and Wonders coming up next month, I decided to split this video and my predictions for the event into 2 separate uploads. My predictions video will be coming in a few days, where I'll go over the watches I expect and hope to see announced, along with a few renders I've made to illustrate those ideas. After that, the usual weekend upload will follow as well, just as usual. Going forward, expect more analytical and watch collection discussions on this channel. Those videos have been my favorite to make, and they've sparked the most discussion by far on this channel. Let me know your thoughts about this video and how you've been feeling about the industry as of late in the comments. See you all in a few days for my Watches and Wonders prediction video. Thank you for taking the time to watch.